Hey, it was a huge game. Sunday Night Football. Cowboys got the dub. Again, shout out to the Dallas Cowboys, not just for winning a football game.
Boys.
We've all played games at the end of the season when you know you're not going to the playoffs, but you got to find a way to go out there and play anyway. Some sort of motivation, either the money, either the family, either the legacy, either the name on the back of the jersey. Cowboys found their own motivation. James, you played for Mike McCarthy. When he speaks, we obviously listen. You listen first and foremost. Did he save his job yesterday, though? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Coach Mike ain't going nowhere. To be honest with you, the last 3 weeks have let me know that. Jerry Jones, the last 3 weeks, have been praising Mike McCarthy like he is 13 and 14 and 1 like Andy Reid. That's how he's been praising him. It started off being a lame duck coach, all this stuff. It started off not with this conversation.
I didn't say.
Then the last 3 weeks, you got the quarterback. You got the star defensive player. And then you got the owner talking the way he's been talking. Coach Mike is not going nowhere. And they did have something to play for, and it was the coach. They know if you go out there and you drop games and drop games and drop games, even though you're out of the playoffs, the coach could possibly be fired. Coach Mike McCarthy has these boys playing really good football with the backup quarterback in the game. Coach Mike is going to be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys next year. You can hear it in Jerry's voice. You can hear it in the players' voice. And you can see it how the players is playing. Coach Mike has dealt with a lot of injuries this year, just like a lot of coaches.
Yeah.
And I feel like he has did the best job that he possibly can do with the players that he's lost winning football games. And if it wasn't for a dude staying away from a punt, we still are in the playoff hunt when you talk about Mike McCarthy. So I think he's doing a heck of a job this year, especially, ever since he lost Dak Prescott. And you hear the owner talking, Coach Mike ain't going nowhere.
Look, Dallas has won 4 of their last 5 games with a backup quarterback, with injuries, with everything that's going on in Dallas. And so that's impressive to me. The main thing, though, why I think he has saved his job, because you look at 6 weeks ago or even 6 months ago when he was a lame duck head coach. You know how to get it in, Shade. When he was a lame duck head coach, meaning he does not have a contract this year, like everyone was like, there's no way he's going to come back, especially if he wins 12 games and lose. I mean, they won 4 of their last 5. The biggest thing I'm seeing, though, is the team's not rolling over. They're fighting. They're continuing to fight. We talked about last week DJ Moore from the Chicago Bears. A reporter asked him, hey, what are you looking forward to of this game? Hopefully from your captain, you're going to see fight. He said vacation. He said, I'm trying to go to Cabo. I'm trying to go to Cancun. You haven't heard one guy in that Dallas organization say that. Coach Mike has not lost the locker room. And even what you said, those guys, right? So Dak Prescott, Michael Parsons. We forgot about Troy Aikman, too, who was saying that, too. He's a legend, right? And then Jerry Jones says this. It comes down to me, like, if you fire him, who else are you going to bring in to replace him? There might be 1 or 2 guys that I think could maybe do a job like Mike McCarthy did. Another thing that people aren't talking about, and we can talk about, he's a free agent after this year. You could say this is one of his better coaching jobs. There might be other teams trying to court him. So I do think the ball is switched primarily to Mike McCarthy's court in this aspect.
2-5, 2-5, 2-5.
I don't think he's going anywhere. But I never thought he was going to be fired, right? Because he's been 12 wins, on the playoffs, he doesn't get it done, but a lot of that has to do with his quarterback. But can we cut the malarkey? Can we cut the baloney here?
Baloney.
It's like we praising the Cowboys for having a bad season. Did you hear this? Oh, listen.
Hey, the man
what I'm not going to do,
I just answer.
What I'm not going to do is praise the Cowboys for being a bad team.
You ain't got to praise them.
I think they have a good coach in Mike McCarthy. I think he should remain the coach.
There you go.
Right, because he's done well over his duration of his contract with the Cowboys since 2020. He's the 3rd winningest coach in the NFC. I give you that, and I think he's a good coach. I never thought he should get fired. But what I'm not going to do to America is act like we about to praise the Cowboys for being a bad team.
Nobody
praising them.
What?
We're not
so no, I'm not about to sit and do all that. I'll say this. Your quarterback is not there, right? $6 million quarterback, who's not really a $6 million quarterback, but he's paid like that. He's a good quarterback. I don't think you're going to win too many games with him in the playoffs, which he hasn't done. Defensive-wise, you got Michael Parsons doing well. Defense is up and down. They're always up and down. You know what they expect. All I'm saying is I think he's a good coach, but we need to see more from the Cowboys, because even if he is the coach and they do well next year and they go back to their regular resume of winning 12 games a year, what else are we getting, though? I don't think the question mark is Mike McCarthy. It's some of the highest paid players on the team. I keep telling y'all that.
Not CD.
Not CD. CD is a dog. I've been screaming out CD was a dog. I've been screaming out that Michael Parsons is a dog. But who's not a dog, who's not that guy,
Say it.
It's the quarterback, Dak Prescott. So I'm not going to let y'all escape the fact that it's not a Mike McCarthy issue. It's It's a Dak Prescott issue.
Well, here's what's fascinating. Here's what's fascinating.
What is it, rush hour time? Okay, Cooper and Rush, I see what you're doing out there.
That's what's been most impressive. That's what's been most impressive. You've won 4 out of your last 5 as Mike McCarthy, and you've won 2 against playoff teams, if not fringe playoff teams. Buck, a playoff team entering yesterday. Washington Commanders, obviously, you see what they're capable of. That's what's impressive. Mike McCarthy, I believe he saved his job, but here's what's fascinating. I heard Chris Collinsworth on the broadcast. He said something I vehemently disagreed with. These guys are still playing hard. I'm not going to clap that they're playing hard. NFL players are supposed to play hard.
Thank you.
CeeDee Lamb, you're making $30 million. Play hard. Micah Parsons, you're going to be the highest paid defensive player in the history of the National Football League. Play hard. Forget playing hard. The Cowboys are playing well. The Cowboys are playing smart. The Cowboys are actually playing good football. Playing hard is a fish swimming. That's what you have to do to survive. Playing hard in the NFL, that's what you have to do to become an NFL player. I'm not going to applaud a fish for swimming. I will not applaud the Cowboys for playing hard. What I will applaud them for, playing smart, playing good football, shutting down Mike Evans. Mike Evans had 100 receiving yards going into the game. Mike Evans, more than anybody in football, wants to keep his season streak going of consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. He wanted 100 yards receiving. Cowboys didn't let it happen. Bucky Irving wanted to get busy. Cowboys didn't necessarily let it happen. I applaud the Cowboys for playing smart football, playing good football. Playing hard is just a prerequisite to playing in the National Football League. For that reason, James, that's why I think McCarthy has to some degree saved his job. But to Shady's point.
Come on now.
If you were going to fire McCarthy for losing in the playoffs, he still would have done that. Like, all data still suggests that he would have likely lost in the playoffs, particularly with Dak Prescott.
For sure,
so
with Dak Prescott.
You weren't going to fire him for that, if you weren't going to fire him for that, then by all means keep him. But it's hard to retain Mike McCarthy for an incomplete grade. And that's what we're doing right now, is suggesting.
You think it's incomplete?
Because we were going to, remember, I think you said before the season, Chase, or in the midst of the early season, you said it depends how far they go in the playoffs. But he's not going to get to go to the playoffs. So now we're keeping Mike McCarthy, even though retaining him was contingent upon a playoff appearance that we won't get.
But I think at the end of the day, we know Coach Mike is a good coach.
Yes, he is.
I
agree with that.
You're hiring NFL coaches, you're looking for a good coach. So this good coach came in and he turns your $60 million quarterback, who you think is his fault, to playing his best football. So you bring in
the season.
So you bring in another coach,
second in MVP,
to hope and pray that he gets him to play his best football in the playoffs. Is that what you're telling me? Because I don't think there's anything else Coach Mike McCarthy can do as a coach. And if you bring in a Mike Vrabel, what is he going to do for Dak Prescott in the playoffs? Do you understand what I'm saying? So my thing is I will ride with Coach Mike because he showed me he's the coach that can get the best out of my quarterback. Hopefully, one day that rolls over into the playoffs of him playing well. But bringing in another coach, I don't know if that changes Dak Prescott in the playoffs. Mike McCarthy ain't out there.
Well, James Jones, I'll say this to you, man. Because I think Mike is a good coach. I think he always should remain the Cowboys head coach. But there's 2 type of coaches, man, or 2 type of situations. One is we move on from this quarterback that for some reason can't win in the postseason.
Yeah, you can't do that, though.
Okay, well, we've seen people do others. Right? We've seen the Broncos do some moves. We've seen that. Anyway, that's one check. The next thing is, okay, do we bring in a new coach to get the best out of Dak? Now, you talking about stats-wise and the way he played, correct? When McCarthy changed?
Second in MVP vote.
I'm talking about the way it looked. I'm talking about the record. I'm talking about got the best out.
Right. What I'm saying is, I don't look at him as a tough coach. Do you? Is he a tough coach? Because he don't look like a tough coach.
What do you mean by tough?
Okay, for example, so like the way that Dak Prescott, every playoff games, when he plays, the way he plays in the postseason, Andy Reid won't be okay with that, right? Andy Reid's not going to be okay with you. Every time we do great in the regular season, we get in the postseason, it's like you don't even show up. Andy Reid is not going to be okay with that.
But what he's supposed to do?
Hold on, so I'm getting there.
Okay.
Andy Reid's like, look, man, coach, or not coach, the owner, Jerry Jones.
So you,
Listen, look, bro. I know it's your quarterback. I know you love him to death. I know he's a good guy in the community. I know he's a good person. But on the football side of things, we cannot win the big games with him. How do you know that, Andy? Well, look at the proof. See, this thing about football, you can't cheat it because the tape can tell you. When we watch the Cowboys, I watch them play great defense against the Niners on the road.
Yeah.
Right? Niners put up 30-some points against the Cowboys. They put up like 17 or something like that. And they still lost. I watched them come to Dallas. Same team, the Cowboys versus the Niners. Lost. The Packers come to the crib. We had like, what 12 game, 18?
15-game winning streak.
15-game winning streak at home. We come there against a young, inexperienced Packers team, and we lose, and our quarterback throws picks and picks.
What's that have to do with Mike? What can Mike do about that?
So the question mark is, right, because Mike McCarthy is a good coach, but the question is, do we move on from him? Because he is a good coach, but he's not getting the most out of our most important player on our offense. When it matters most.
Yeah.
It's either McCarthy has to do something different, or maybe they have to move on to the coach, or Dak Prescott got to go. Because you can't have the same results every year.
Dak's not going anywhere.
That's James, to some degree, that's where I agree with Shady, is like, Dak Prescott obviously Mike gets the most out of him in the regular season, but as good of a coach as Mike McCarthy is, Cowboys could potentially use a culture change. That's where I think could occur. I think about Harbaugh. You could suggest Herbert had the best stats in the world, the first several years. Harbaugh came in, changed the culture. Herbert does not have the same gaudy statistics, but that team plays a different brand of football, and I believe that brand of football has taken the Chargers further than the Chargers have gone in different brands of football. Maybe the Cowboys could play a different brand of football.
Unfortunately, unfortunately,
right, that's what I'm saying.
You're not going to change the culture in Dallas until you change the owner. The owner has the final say in almost everything. I'm talking about Jerry Jones. He's the GM. I don't think a new head coach is going to come in and get all this power and just be able to change the culture overnight. So while I agree with what you guys are saying, and Mike McCarthy, at some point, you got to put it on the player. Because if you're going away from Mike McCarthy and you're saying, hey, we're not going to bring him in or bring him back for another season, who else is out there? Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson are the only two guys that I would think maybe could make a change in what's happening in Dallas. But at the end of the day, if you're one of those guys and you don't get full control of the team, because we know Jerry Jones has his hands in everything they do. So you can't fire owners, so he ain't getting fired. So I don't know if you can change the culture. You have to be able to work around it to be able to win these playoff games, especially when you get a home playoff game.
Before we move on real quick, because I know he's in my ear, but I just had to respond to Chase. So I think the easy way out of this thing for the last couple of years is blame Jerry Jones. That's what everybody wants to do, though. But if you really watch the team, is it Jerry Jones' fault when they lose to the Niners on the road? Is it Jerry Jones' fault they lose at home to the Packers when your team was better? Yo, one thing that I can say about Jerry Jones, yes, he might talk a little bit too much sometimes. He might demand attention, but one thing I can say about him, he does a good job of getting a lot of talent, and they draft well, and they get talent in them locker rooms. So
I'm not disagreeing at all.
If I'm a coach, though, I want my owner to give me the best person I can get, right? Now, as a coach, I'm supposed to go out there and coach these guys up to win games. So Jerry Jones has done his part for real, for real.
They didn't get a number 2 running back this year. They didn't get a number 2 receiver this year. They didn't solidify defensive line.
Okay, he's a great excuse for that, right? What about them other years, though, Chase? The last 3 years. What are you going to say about that?
There's no excuse for
There's no excuse. So, you see what I'm saying? So out of 4 years, 3 of them, you give me some good players.
But I don't think Mike McCarthy changing is the answer.
So really quick, though.
That's all I'm saying. That's the easy answer out, man.
No. My thing is like when you watch Coach Mike coach the game of football, let's just stick with the playoffs, because that's for the regular season, Coach Mike will be your coach.
He the best.
Yeah. So let's stick with the playoffs. The Packers game, was it a play where we said, Coach Mike, what are you doing? Is it a play?
No,
I didn't see no play like that.
So that's my thing. You've lost some playoff games with Andy Reid. I've lost some playoff games with Coach Mike. Walking off that field, I'm not saying that was Coach Mike's fault. We the players. That's our fault. He threw that pick to Savage. So my thing is like, even if a Ben Johnson or a Mike Vrabel, Dak do that. As a coach, to not bring you back because of your playoff woes is like, man, when he get in the playoff, we don't know what he call it, man. Offense change or, situational football. What is Coach Mike? Coach Mike is not doing that.
What do you do then?
Ever done by a rookie. Obviously, unfortunately, it came at the Philadelphia Eagles' expense. But as fans of football, you got to be a fan of what we are witnessing. So, Shady, what are we witnessing with Jayden Daniels? Because it was crazy.
Well, before I even give you that answer, I'll just say it was a lot of luck that happened yesterday.
Oh, you need a little bit of that.
But no, I got to be honest, but this kid is special, right? And I'll never get too high on rookies because I've seen rookies have really, really good years and next year be up and down, right? So I don't want to give him too much credit, but I will say this. What it looks like to me today, the NFC East, we in trouble, though. Because this kid is taking over fast. And I will, the next 2-3 years, it's going to be his division, right? Now, it could be his division not be winning, but I think he's going to easily be the best quarterback in this division next 2-3 years coming. Right? If he stays on this track. Because I'm thinking, like, this is the worst we'll ever see him. Think about all the quarterbacks you've ever seen, though. The Dak Prescotts, the Jalen Hurts, right? Who's the other one in that division? You got him. Who's the other one? Who's the other one? They don't know. Giants, they don't have no quarterbacks. Anyway, but when you look at rookie quarterbacks, it's like, okay, if you see how good they are at the start, imagine he's going to be in the second year when he's comfortable. Imagine the third year when now he's calling out the offense instead of having a coordinator call everything out. He's going to be scary because he's doing these things off of not really knowing what's really going on. He says a Phil, but he don't really know. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
So I'm nervous for going forward for the NFC East because he's going to take over this league. Not his league, but this division.
I said that, Shady. I said, I think we're witnessing a few things with Jayden Daniels. Number one, we're witnessing the Offensive Rookie of the Year. I have that. I said number two, we're witnessing the best quarterback in the division probably 12 to 16 months from now, right? I think Jayden Daniels has a better skill set than the quarterbacks in the division. Well, he should. He was higher drafted than the quarterbacks in the division. He's a better runner than the quarterbacks in the division, and just pure talent out of the womb. He's a better passer than the quarterbacks in the division. Again, he was drafted higher, so he should have more talent. We'll see how it materializes. I also think we are witnessing the future. We're witnessing the future. Jayden Daniels is the only quarterback in the last 25 years, 4 passing touchdowns in 30 seconds or less in games. He has 4 of them. 4 of them.
Wild.
Not just yesterday, what he's done over the course of the season. Again, you're playing an Eagles defense, which is the best defense in football right now, and they're playing like the best defense in football. You turn the ball over, your team does 5 times, and you still find a way to put the team on your back with seconds remaining, and you go out there and witness it. You go out there and win the game. We're witnessing the Rookie of the Year, and I think we're witnessing the best quarterback in the NFC, probably NFC East, in probably 12 to 16 months from now.
Yeah, man. Rookie of the Year is check. And I was rooting for Brock Bowers, but that's over. The Rookie of the Year is check. But I think what we're witnessing is a really special winner. And the only reason why I say that is, like, when the game is on the line, especially this year, and that's all we can go off of, the young fella delivers. He knows how to make the winning plays. We watched him against Joe Burrow. All-out blitz, all-out pressure, throw a dime to Scary Terry with the game on the line to go win the game. Yesterday, had a couple turnovers, right? Still never blinked, not once, against a really, really, really good Philadelphia Eagles defense. When I was watching it, I'm like, we are witnessing this young player turning into a true winner in the National Football League. And like Shady said, this is the worst we're going to see him. Finding ways to win games like this against the top quarterbacks in the National Football League. The young fella going to be special. Check Rookie of the Year. Check special winner.
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.